Welcome guys to my YouTube channel, Sunny Fonseca, and today we have a special episode in Key West. Today I have Dominic and I have Jenny here. So Dominic, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Sure. So my name is Dominic. Sunny just told you. I moved to Key West about 3 years ago after a 20-year career in real estate in New York City.
Wow.
Which has been probably the best decision I've made in a long time. New York is very different when it comes to real estate. It's more about apartments, condos, and then the biggest part about New York real estate and the difference in Florida is that in New York there are attorneys who deal with the contract work. Here in Key West, contract work is something that we have to do as real estate agents.
Yes.
So anyway, so I moved here 3 years ago with my partner, and it's just been a great move.
It's like a different world, right?
It's totally a different world. But I'm finding my things that I love to do here. I play pickleball, I do volleyball, I also work at the college doing ceramics.
Really?
So I keep my some of my works here.
There you go.
But anyway, so I keep busy.
Yeah.
You know, I thought moving to a town like Key West, I would possibly not have anything to do, but there are so many things to do here that I have not been bored even a minute.
That's great. Yeah. I know, I went on a golf cart with you guys yesterday. I even told my whole family, I'm like, this is the first time I ever actually had fun, you know? So, but yeah, that's nice. Good to know. See, I didn't even know you do ceramics. So, well, thank you for telling me.
Yeah, of course.
Jenny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Jennifer Potter. I was born and raised in Key West, Florida. I grew up in the Meadows in a house that my grandfather built. My mom and dad operated a fishing business at Charterboat Row, and I was, on those docks before I could even walk, I was bagging bait.
It's like part of nature, right? When you're from here, it's
definitely.
What is bagging bait?
Putting the ballyhoo in a bag, putting it in the freezer.
Right.
Oh, bagging ballyhoo.
Yeah.
So recently, you guys just collaborated. How is that going?
So great.
We are having the time of our lives.
I know.
Yes.
We really are. Again, moving from New York, where work was so stressful and it's always grind and
fast-paced.
So fast-paced. I was adamant about the fact that when I moved here, I wanted things to be more fun. And spend more time outside, be in nature. So it's been great.
That's a benefit of not having kids, right? You just pack your stuff and just go.
I have 3 kids, but still.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about who you work with and a day in life in Key West with Jenny and Dominic. How does that go?
So it's kind of crazy.
I know. I can tell.
It is very creative. The one good thing is that although it's kind of crazy, we do have a routine where we are in the office doing social media posts, trying to figure out what's the next fun thing to do for our listing that's sort of out of the box, not the normal marketing. Luckily, we have a strong brand behind us right now, which is Sotheby's, and so they're globally recognized as one of the luxury property companies in the world that represents, and obviously
they're international too.
They're international, and they also deal with art and stuff like that. So there's a creative side to Sotheby's too. They've been very responsive to our antics. We're doing super cool videos, not the normal, just the property. When I came on my own to Sotheby's, I thought, well, being in this business for so long, I see everybody's doing sort of the normal property videos. There's never people in it. There's never anything interesting. So we decided to bring a more humanistic side to it, so you could see people in a space, doing silly things.
More flavor.
I know. I have to say, that is, when I first saw one of your videos, I was like, oh my God, that's so creative.
It's memorable.
So Jenny, tell us a little bit about how being from Key West originally helps you in real estate in today's market here in Key West?
Well, I think it's important to let people know the different areas of the island and to also give them the history of it.
Yes.
Because I think that's what's so important, is to keep the history, the culture of Key West alive.
Yes. And then there's so many little towns within Key West, right? Key West is like a 10-minute radius around here, right? So then you have Old Town, New Town, and then
lots of different neighborhoods.
Right.
They're all super eclectic, but they all have the same sense of community. You know, that's very important.
Yes, and the people too, for them to understand market. So we were talking about this yesterday, how in Key West, and I'm sure you run across these situations too when it comes, like there is a house that's a brand new manufactured home, and then next to that house is just a mobile home. And a lot of people fail to realize that just because it's a mobile home, it doesn't lose its value.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, you're still in Key West, so it doesn't matter. A lot of the
value is not necessarily just the thing that's standing there, but where it is.
Yeah, correct.
100%.
Correct. And a lot of people don't think outside of the box, where sometimes I come across these situations where it's like, well, it's a mobile home. I'm going to go, they should be $50,000 less or $100,000. That's not the case. You're paying for the land and the island itself, you know? So do you come across those situations a lot, or?
You know, I wouldn't say as much as they probably did in the past. I think a ton of Key West has been, I don't know the other word than say gentrified.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There aren't a ton of dilapidated homes next to homes that are just built.
Yes.
But the issue that you come into in that regard is that there are very few people that are willing or able or even mentally able to wrap their heads around doing a renovation.
Yes.
So,
right.
The reality is that those properties sometimes will go for less than something that's next door, but it's not because the value isn't there. It's because the people being able to put it together aren't.
That's where you come into place, right?
100%.
Yeah, that's where Jenny comes into place. Like, hold on, let me think outside of the box on this one. Yeah. And a lot of people get intimidated, you know, for that.
Yeah.
And what recommendation do you have for somebody who's just starting to purchase or want to buy their own home down here as a family? What are some recommendations or areas that you recommend for buyers in today's market?
I think location is very personal. So a lot of where our expertise comes in and knowledge is, as I said, I never really recommend somebody a specific neighborhood because I feel like it's very personal. I don't, I sort of try to figure out where they want to be. Do they have kids that are going to school? Are they going to be here on vacation mostly? Or are they going to live here full time? I think a lot of those things come into play when you try to decide what neighborhood to be in.
Yeah.
I think a lot of local people prefer not to be in the heavily populated area of down by Duval Street. Like, we visit that area and have a great time, but when we're day-to-day living, you want to go home and just sort of chill.
Correct. You want to disconnect from that lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That's a good thing. And I noticed that they're building more schools here now. There's a charter school opening up, so now it's like more family and understanding that. Because there's a lot of people moving from out of town, out of state here.
Yeah.
So, and families too, granted, we're always like, we always struggle with this. Like, we're just going to move down here. We're going to move down here. And we never do. But because now I see that there's more schools opening and stuff like that, I think that gives me more like, oh, good, there's a school opening more. It gives me more opportunities or more options. So I really, I was so happy to see that,
We're seeing a ton of people moving, even from up the Keys a little bit into Key West. Because because they're finding that with their kids, they're constantly coming back here for activities, for things. So they're like, okay, this was a great idea that we want to live on the water in Big Coppet or somewhere up there, but it's every day we're coming back and forth 4 times.
Yeah, like the baseball or something like that.
100%.
That's like huge over here. Baseball, football, and stuff like that. So look, we drove all the way from there. I know, right? I know. I live 2 lives: one baseball and one this. So yeah. But so, what recommendation do you have for an investor looking to want to invest here? What areas do you think are good for investors to grow out here?
I think investment properties here can be anywhere on the island.
Yeah.
More so than it was in the past. Obviously, a lot of investors are looking for the elusive transient license so they can have nightly rentals. That seems to be the most profitable. But the nightly transient license has become so expensive to get that the numbers aren't necessarily gelling with, okay, I'm paying $900,000, but my income is $80,000 a year.
Okay.
They don't gel, right? So, but I think if you're creative, as an investor, you know that the summer months here are going to now go back to being quiet, whereas the past 3 years they were not. So what some of my investors are doing is they're renting monthly to local people that need housing, and they're getting, you know, the months filled, and then once the season comes, then they have the higher price points.
Can you explain a little bit to our consumer what exactly is the transit license?
So the transient license allows a property to rent their home or apartment nightly.
Got you. So it's not just a 1, 2, 3, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right? You have to apply for that license just
No, the licenses are not issued anymore.
Got it.
So the property either has it or it doesn't.
But
there are some properties that you can transfer one that's already somewhere else to another one, but it's complicated in the sense that it has to be a like property.
You have to, got
So
it.
if it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, it needs to transfer to another 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not, okay.
And where they are in town, where they mostly are in town, there are pockets of them in different areas in the city, but the majority of them are along Duval Street, along Truman Avenue, and then like a block or so off of either of those two streets.
Yeah.
That's where the majority of them are, where you'll see the guest houses and hotels.
Yeah, so sometimes it's not even worth it for that license, right? So sometimes they just rent it out for 30 days. And people do rent it out for 30 days.
The monthly rentals have become more profitable here.
Yeah, and it's more reasonable because if you're coming here, you're not coming here for just a couple of days, right? We come here for a month or whatever the case is, you know? So definitely Key West has a heart. Well, Key West is in my kid's heart, that's for sure. I know that, you know, so definitely that's a plus. Now, sometimes I struggle with a lot of people that are purchasing here or from out of state and stuff like that. And I don't know if you recommend this too, but sometimes they buy cash. And I always tell my buyers, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? There's so many loan programs. There's a DSCR loan that comes in where it goes by the rental income, like no income. It doesn't ask for any income, any assets or stuff like that. As long as the rental income is 15% higher than what the monthly mortgage payment is, then you qualify. You know, so there's so many loan programs.
It's interesting, and again, having somebody like you to give them that info is really important. I don't typically get into that aspect of it. Usually the process is, hey, we want to buy a place that we can stay here for a few months in the winter, and we want to rent it the rest of the year. But it's smart. I could say, well, you know, if you're going to pay cash, why don't you think about getting 2 places, rent them both all year, and just come down here for you know, a couple of months.
Yeah, just so you guys know, Jenny is also a writer. You get a free coloring book when you purchase with Jenny.
Exactly. When you purchase with us, you get all the coloring books.
All of the coloring.
Yes. So how has real estate been for you? You've been licensed.
I've been licensed since earlier this year, but I've been working in it for a couple of years now. And my background was in property management, but I also have a creative side. I was a hip-hop stylist for over 10 years, and I had a fine jewelry line made in New York.
You still run that jewelry line?
Yes, I still have the jewelry line. And I write, I freelance for a couple of local publications.
Yeah. So if anybody knows about Key West, that would be Jenny here, right? It's like she knows all the ins and outs.
It is like a parade when we're on the golf cart between the two of us who we know.
I noticed, like, wait, I know that.
And
I'm
they
like,
all know
okay.
Jenny too.
It's a small town, though. You know, when you grow up in a town like this, and I have always felt since I was little that it's important to give back to the community that you live in.
Absolutely. It's part of your town. It's part of your blood. And
we try to do that too within our business with volunteering and, you know, picking up trash at the beach.
Yeah. You know what? I need to do that too.
It makes you feel good that you're doing something good.
For the community.
Yeah, not for clout, but for yourself,
of
you know?
Course. Yeah, the energy that we give out, we need to receive back.
We live here too, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're not just selling homes and a lifestyle, we're living it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited to see you girls.
Yes.
And thank you for letting me be a part of your journey.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, I know. It's not only, like I say, we become friends, we become a team. So we grow together, you know? So
of course we do.
I really appreciate that. And thank you for letting us be under your little tiki, what do you call it?
It's a tiki hut.
This is Tiki Talk.
Tiki Talk, Tiki Talk, Tiki Talk. And I want to give a great shout out to Damali. Thank you so much for coming in. He's behind the camera. And Dominic, thank you so much. And Jenny, thank you so much for showing me the island. Aside from me always coming here, they showed me a different side, and I got to really get to know you guys one-on-one.
Yeah, the best is yet to come.
I know, right?
100%.
It is yet to come.
Thank you guys so much, and definitely looking forward to growing with you guys and being part of our journey together and growing together. Guys, if you want more information, click the link on my bio and send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you all got. Have a good one.